Welcome back to the Bill and Doug Show. Doug Lesmerises and Bill Landis here to pick the national title game between Miami and Indiana. Also at the end of the show, if you don't normally get a little piece of it, we're giving it to you. It's Whatcha. It's what you watching, what you eating, what you thinking. We normally do that for our Substack audience over at billanddougosu.substack.com, but we did a Wednesday show. We normally do it on our Wednesday Substack show, Bill, and we just talked about football for 2.5 hours on that show, and we didn't have time to talk about Hulu and hot dogs, so we're doing it here.
That's right. Even out of season, we suffer from TMB. Too much ball.
Too much ball. Also, I just would like to state for the record that we did an interview with Ross Bjork, the Ohio State athletic director, that you can find on this YouTube channel and in your podcast feeds. And I was rewatching that, just getting some notes to feed our Substack audience. And I just watched it and I thought, my God, you look like a grumpy old man. My resting pod face, I have got to work on, because I was listening, and my listening face is like, oh. And so I've reverted to hello, fellow kids for this episode, because I don't hey, Doug's fun. Hey, everybody, Doug can wear a backwards hat. So I had to shed that, because I should do hey, fellow kids with Ross. It's like, I'm a fun guy talking ball. I talk about. I didn't like it.
Do you not look at yourself while we're doing the show?
I look at myself constantly, but there was nothing I could do. All I do is look at myself on pods and off 24 hours a day. But I couldn't make myself, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. Yeah. We're solving the college football crisis here. And I can't have a grin on my face during that. It's like, no, we're figuring out NIL. So I'm going to look like a 71-year-old get off my lawn guy. Hello, fellow kids. Before we make our pick for this game where Indiana is favored by 8.5 over Miami, and before we talk about Hulu and hot dogs, I would like to throw the all-state predictor into the ocean. And I would like to talk about it. And this all-state predictor before the season that, I don't know what ESPN feeds this thing to come up with, analytical stuff. It's enough to make me want to cancel Allstate if it is your insurance provider right now, because it's so dumb. And I have revisited the All-State playoff predictor, Bill, and I would like to mock it and then shoot it into the nearest star, if that's okay with you, which is our son.
It is our son. Let's do it.
So here's the thing. Nobody necessarily saw this Indiana thing coming, right? But let's state some things for the record. Oh. Number one, in the KOTN preseason poll, a thing we did once upon a time that I think we'll still try to do for the Bill and Doug show. We can get 50 people on the horn. Make Big Ten picks, can't we?
I actually love the idea of calling it the bad Big Ten preseason poll. So, because usually it is.
That's well said. Do you know where Indiana was picked in our preseason poll when we surveyed, I believe, 52 college football and Big Ten reporters from around the country? Do you remember where Indiana finished?
Sixth.
Yeah. Which is not first, but it's not last.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, USC, Nebraska were the top 8. So people are going to be wrong, but sixth. Do you know where Indiana was in the preseason polls?
17 or something like that.
Indiana, AP 20, coaches poll 19 for Indiana. Miami preseason polls was 10th in both. So as much as this is and this is one of those things to go back and say man, the preseason polls were really wrong. It's the consensus was wrong. The consensus was wrong. The poll represents a consensus. It's not you stupid poll voters. It's the general vibes around college football did not view Miami and Indiana among the top 8 teams. And that general consensus, which is reflected by the polls, had Texas there, had Penn State there, had Clemson there, had Ohio State there, had Georgia there, right? That's what we're talking about. But Indiana, to say that they were picked 6th in the Big Ten, to say that they were picked 19th or 20th in the preseason polls, that's not completely out of nowhere, would you say? Would you call that out of nowhere?
No, I don't think so. No, makes sense to me.
So let me lead you to the All-State playoff predictor. Cancel your insurance. 32 teams. There was a story on ESPN.com before the season that said the 32 teams that can win, that can make the playoff. Let me get this right. Let me make sure I get this headline correct, because if I'm going to mock an ESPN story, I want to mock it correctly. CFP 2025, 32 teams can make the college football playoff. This is from August 1st. Okay. It's from August 1st. And it is a write-up, but it's a write-up based on this insurance projection that sucks, right? So it's not a person. It's written by Heather Dinich, but Heather Dinich is handed, I don't know, it's a fax machine. It's an old dot matrix printer. It's printing out the top 32. And then they say, Heather, go write about this, right? 32 teams, they say, can win the college football playoff. Guess how many of those 32 were from the SEC?
Everybody except for Kentucky and Mississippi State.
11. 11 out of 16. 11. Guess how many were from the Big Ten?
4.
6. 6. So like Nebraska scraped in at the bottom, USC scraped in at the bottom, which was actually one fewer than the Big 12. The Big 12 had 7. Now, I don't know in the dot matrix printout if it's like, well, the Big 12 is like more up for grabs. So there's 7 teams that we think can win the Big 12, and that's why it's 7. That's not why it is for the SEC. The SEC is not like, it's so wide open. We just think the 11th place team is a legitimate playoff contender. It's garbage in, garbage out. Right. It's SEC perception and bias in and flawed thinking about how college football rosters are built these days. Garbage in, garbage out. Right. ACC had 4. Miami was one of them. 11.
Who are the other? Miami, Clemson, and who else?
Virginia Tech and SMU.
Oh, okay.
Were the 4 SEC teams. Because do you remember how many teams made the college football playoff in 2024? How many teams got into the playoff? Do you remember?
12.
Hey, you're right. You nailed it. God, you're good at this. Guess how many of the 12 playoff teams from 2024, the garbage in, garbage out, all-state playoff predictor, put in the top 32 for 2025? Of those 12, how many made it on the garbage in, garbage out list?
12?
11.
Oh.
All but 1. All but Indiana.
Indiana was the only one.
11 SEC teams made it. So here's the point. And they're like, I guess Arizona State could do it again. I don't know. Could SMU do it again? I guess. I put them on. Garbage in, garbage out. Could Indiana do it again? With their miracle-making head coach and so much of that talent back? And an upgrade at quarterback? Nope. Not according to this thing. Cancel your insurance.
This is a nationwide house. We're all good.
Yeah. We have an insurance. I don't even know the name. I can't even say the name of it. Here's my point. The world where anybody, whether it's an ESPN garbage in, garbage out numbers machine or anyone, it's not that you're wrong. It's like, who is in your group of, I don't know, maybes, right? And if your group of I don't know maybes goes 11 deep in the SEC and goes 6 deep in the Big Ten and leaves out a playoff team from the year before, shoot your garbage in, garbage out machine into the frickin' sun. And can we please get out of the world where it is a reasonable thing to list 32 teams that could make the playoff, however you come to that conclusion, whether it is a human or a robot or a chat GPT or a dot matrix printer. Can we get out of the business of making a list of 32 teams that can achieve something great and have it be 11 from the SEC and 6 from the Big Ten? Can we end that practice, Bill?
No, probably not. Well, because it's sponsored. Money to be made.
Cancel your insurance. I don't know what else there is left to do, because the point is if you would have gone 11 deep, if you would have gone 8 deep in the Big Ten, you would have gotten to Indiana, but you went 11 deep. We're like, well, we can't leave out Florida. We can't leave out South Carolina. The dot matrix printer said South Carolina might make the playoff. So that's the part of this that like aggravates me. Indiana had done it. It doesn't mean that you had to think to yourself, I'm sure Indiana's repeating. It's like, but in the, I don't know, I guess, like, could they do it? So you're analyzing it wrong. Your numbers are meaningless. Your numbers and your analysis are literal garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So please change your practices. So that's all. And I just would like to point out the absolute garbage take from the All-State playoff predictor, which should be beaten to death with the hammer.
We can do that. Can I give a shout? I'm looking at the preseason AP poll, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to former friend of KOTN, Andy Yamashita, for being the highest voter on Indiana. He had Indiana 11th going into the season.
Andy Yamashita, bring that. Washington beat writer. Bring it. So good. He knows what's up. But like, you know what I mean, Bill? It's just like on the idea that there's this infinite number of possibilities of like, wouldn't this be a great story? But don't put Indiana on that list. Stupid.
It's really, yeah. Well, it's just recruiting rankings. I think at the end of the day, why that didn't happen, because they've been talking about it during the broadcast, right? The lack of 4- and 5-star prospects on Indiana's roster. So you just can't. The computers have not caught up to the transfer portal yet. So you're just plugging in high school recruiting rankings, and then suddenly you think Indiana stinks. When guess what? They don't.
Right. So smash your machine. Your machine is outdated. Are you mad at the machine?
Yeah.
Are you mad? Are you mad at your trolley car that it's not as fast as a Lamborghini? Or is it your fault for riding the trolley car? Right? So maybe don't cancel your insurance and don't blame the trolley car, but just stop using it. Stop using it as some kind of analysis. And everybody's wrong, but this is the most wrong. This was the most wrong, that you were so close-minded that you left out one playoff team from the year before. You let in 11 SEC teams and 6 Big Ten teams, and none of them were the Indiana Hoosiers. So soak in your ineptitude. That's all. Machine. I assume it's a machine. Garbage.
It's got to be. Yeah, I think it's a machine. 6 people. No, is this right? 7 people did not have Indiana ranked at all in the preseason.
Okay. That's just human fallacy.
John Wilner.
John Wilner. Oh.
What are we doing?
Yeah. We're just men and women. We do the best we can. Yeah. Right? But a robot, what's the point? If a robot can't do better prediction stuff than this. 100-1 in the preseason. I was looking at the preseason national championship odds. Indiana was 100-1, tied for 23rd. Miami was 30-1, tied for 10th. So, I mean, I'm a sweet little $100 bet, the old Dougie bet $3 on that. 300 sweet smackaroos right in your pocket. Come on. What are we doing? All right. I am not 100% sure how Miami is going to compete. How do you think Miami might compete in this game?
Run the ball, slow it down, play ball control. The question I've been asking myself is like, does Miami need to score on defense to have a shot to win? The answer might be yes, right? Like, okay. and they've done, like, they did that against Ohio State, rather big defensive touchdown in that game. I think it'll be pretty difficult, if not impossible, for Miami to beat Indiana if they don't get Indiana to turn it over a time or two. But I think that's probably the recipe. Cause some havoc that can get you a turnover or two. Run the ball, which I actually think they might be able to do a little bit against Indiana. Like, not run it all over them, but just kind of run it in the same way they ran it against Ohio State, which is just like, we're getting 4, we're getting 3, we're turning out first downs a little bit and holding the ball and running some clock. And then you need another clean game from Carson Beck. So there are a lot of things that I think need to happen. I think the script is pretty similar to how Miami beat Ohio State on the whole, but I do think it's a difficult ask to, make Miami kind of do that again against another really good team.
Can I just also make an apology, by the way? Things fall out of my head. But we had been talking at one point about Ohio State and like the Keontae Scott pick 6 from Miami against Ohio State. And like, when's the last time like you saw an Ohio State veteran trigger on a play like that? It did against Indiana. Lorenzo Styles triggered on a bubble screen, tackled the guy as the ball got there. The ball popped in the air. Davis and Igbenogson intercepted it to set up a short field for a Carnell Tate touchdown. That was like how Ohio State scored its touchdown in that game. It wasn't a pick 6, but it was the same thing. It was a trigger on a bubble that turned into a turnover that led to a score. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. Shout out by a veteran, by an old guy.
Yeah.
What are the things, because that's the game, I think we obviously understand. If you're not an Ohio State fan and you're here and you're a fan of some other team, and you're just soaking in Doug and Bill ripping the All-State playoff predictor, welcome. But we also understand that this is a large Ohio State audience. We do a lot of Ohio State shows on this podcast feed and on this YouTube channel. And that Ohio State-Miami game is obviously very fresh in people's minds. The Ohio State-Indiana game is still pretty fresh, but slightly less fresh. But that's the game that I was watching today to finalize some thoughts here. Because Ohio State did a pretty darn good job of holding Indiana down in that game. And that is do you think what I think there are things that's you try to watch Miami, Ohio State, and then think okay, this is what Miami did to Ohio State. As you just said, could Miami do that to Indiana, not do that to Indiana? But when you look at Ohio State, Indiana, this is what Ohio State did to Indiana. This is what Indiana did to Ohio State. That can, if Ohio State's defense could make it tough on Indiana much of that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they even got a short field early on Julian saying pick and did not get a touchdown out of it. Ohio State held them to a field goal. Can Miami do some of that same stuff, or is it that Miami's defense at the three levels of the defense? Yes, we know they have some pass rushers up front, are not as capable of shutting down Fernando Mendoza in this group as Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles were.
Yeah, that could be it. Because the other thing is that Indiana lost Omar Cooper pretty early in that game.
Yes,
one of their three top receivers. So this is fully loaded Indiana with Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, and Charlie Becker.
Yep,
up against a Miami secondary that I don't think is as good as Ohio State's, and also is going to have to play the first half without Xavier Lucas, one of its top corners. And then one of their other corners, OJ Frederick, is got hurt in the Ole Miss game, but I think is going to play, but probably not 100%. I think there's going to be a bit of a window early in the game, maybe for Indiana to try to exploit a kind of weakened Miami secondary, including Keontae Scott. Because I actually wonder, they love to blitz Keontae Scott. Is there anything that's going to make them blitz him less early because they're down a guy, and also there are three receivers to worry about, whereas against Ohio State, you're kind of only worried about two. I don't know. So, but I would say Miami's probably slightly less equipped to do that than Ohio State was in the Big Ten championship.
Okay. Let me keep throwing I'm going to keep throwing some comparisons at you, because Ohio State is just obviously such an interesting comparison. They lost their last two games to these two teams. What Indiana was able to do, what both these teams, but I guess what Indiana was able to do defensively, they might have a harder time doing that against Miami because Miami's offensive line is better. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
And then do you also think what Miami did to Ohio State, Miami will have a harder time doing that against Indiana because Indiana's offensive line is better? Do you think that's true?
I am less certain. I'm less certain of that. I think Indiana's offensive line is probably better than Ohio State's. I don't know how much better, and I don't know. I think the athletic advantage is still very much in Miami's defensive line's favor.
Okay. Not the gaping hole that Ohio State had at right guard, because Zen Mahalski is a fill in there, right? Khalil Benson, if he's healthy at right tackle like that. Miami exploited that to some degree. I don't know. I think I might believe that Indiana's offensive line is a substantial step or two above where Ohio State's was at that point against Miami, and that the things that Miami did best early on in that game to throw Ohio State off its game, which partly was Ohio State going silent count, which I don't think is going to be an issue here, even though there's going to be a lot of Miami people there, but there's a hole in the roof, first of all, right? So it won't be as echoey. And also there's going to be tons of Indiana. There's a ton of Indiana fans there in Miami. I'm not expecting Miami to
Khalil Benson has given up more pressures than anybody on Ohio State's offensive line. I actually think Khalil Benson could be a little bit of a problem for Indiana in this game.
As much of a problem that, what are you going to do? You're going to put Mesidor or Bain, whoever's over the right tackle, might have a chance to get loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, if you're on I don't know that right tackle has been as much of a bugaboo for Indiana as right guard was for Ohio State for the entire season, but it might be close.
Okay.
I think it might be, especially from a pass blocking perspective. Left tackle Carter Smith is great. I think the rest of the line has been pretty solid, but I would imagine you're going to see Miami overload the right side of Indiana's offensive line. Yeah.
So then, again, the other thing, and we did a big rewatch that we talked about in a 90-minute show for our Substack audience of Ohio State, Miami, and just thought that Julian Sayan's playmaking, holding the ball a bit, like maybe not seeing it quite as well as a young quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is not a young quarterback. That compounded anything that was going wrong up front for Ohio State. Do you think, how much more of a problem solver do you think Fernando Mendoza can be, even if Miami is able to exploit some advantages against the offensive line like they did against Ohio State?
Well, I think he'll hang in and make throws for sure. Like, I actually thought when Ohio State played Indiana that Mendoza did not look like super elusive and athletic compared to Ohio State's defensive line, and I wonder if that might look the same against Miami's. But he'll also stand in there tall and deliver a ball downfield while he's getting rocked too. So, like, I think that's probably the key difference. Mendoza on the year has been among the better quarterbacks in the country while pressured, but he's also had some bad games under pressure. Like Iowa, he was not good under pressure. The first Oregon game, he was not good under pressure. When they pulled one out at Penn State, he was very good under pressure. He was not pressured a lot, really, at all in the second game against Oregon in the semifinal. So, yeah, I think he's been hot and cold enough in games where he's been under duress that we shouldn't assume that he's just going to problem solve the entire time against Miami's defense, but he definitely has that in him. And I think probably, more than Marcel Reed, Julian Sayin, and perhaps even Trinidad Chambliss, the three quarterbacks in Miami has played. Like, he does it differently, but I think maybe it'll impact him the least of all the quarterbacks Miami has faced thus far. 274
scramble yards on the year for Fernando Mendoza, 48 scramble yards on the year for Julian Sayin. I could imagine that really mattering, just like even though Carson Beck during the year didn't scramble much. We've talked about that a lot. He has scrambled in the last two games in a way that mattered. Scramble yards for Fernando Mendoza. He did a little bit against... He did like a decent amount against Alabama and Oregon in the last couple games. I think in a way that mattered enough. And I think just when you watch him, he's has a sense of when to go, and that's kind of the biggest thing. And I think part of that is just experience, right? That I think he does have a good handle on that. He did not he doesn't have any scramble yards against Ohio State, but he had 30 against Alabama on 4 scrambles. He had 44 scramble yards against Oregon on 3 scrambles. He's had other games this year where he had 20, 25, 40, 35, 20, 18. Like, he will do that. I think that might really matter.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what Miami does, because like you mentioned, he had no scramble yards against Ohio State. Ohio State spied him the whole time with Arvell Reese. So, and I don't know, Miami certainly has guys who are athletic enough to spy him if they wanted to, but that would also kind of fly in the face of who they are defensively, because they just want to get downhill and get after you. So how does Miami choose to play that, I think will kind of be huge in this game, because if they do spy him and do cage him in the pocket, then maybe you can limit his effectiveness while pressuring him. But if you give him that escape hatch, and very much the same way as Carson Beck, he'll take it and he'll burn you for it. So I guess that's a question Miami needs to ask itself, is like, how much do they want to try to spy him when they're bringing pressure?
Miami didn't score much against Texas A&M in the first playoff game. They got the defensive score against Ohio State, but they also had an early drive that mattered and a late drive that mattered to put that game away. So they weren't a high-flying offense, but they kind of did enough of what they wanted to do. And then I think, like, Ole Miss's defense just is not at the level, I think, of Ohio State or Indiana's. I think you're right that if they ran it consistently in chunks against Ohio State, they can probably do that some, at least, against Indiana in chunks. But I do have maybe a ceiling on how many points I think Miami can put up offensively. Do you think that, like, if you want to pick Miami, are you starting to get into, like, okay, well, is Indiana going to give up? You know what I mean? More is it 17? And can Miami get a defensive score and then try to win 24-20 or something like that with 7 of the points coming from defense? If you're on Miami, is that where you need to be? Probably.
I think that's probably your script. Yeah. I just like, if you're picking Miami's offense to score more than 3 touchdowns against Indiana, I think you're probably asking for a lot there. You're asking that a lot, really, for any team, or even Ohio State really couldn't do it. So, yeah, like I said, I think it's going to have to very much look like the Cotton Bowl script for Miami. Like, you almost need Keontae Scott to steal you some of them. But I also think he's capable of it. Like, Mendoza's not a quarterback who has turned the ball over a bunch this year, but in those 2 games against Iowa and the first one against Oregon that I mentioned, like, he did turn it over when he was pressured. He threw a pick in both of those games when he was pressured, including like a pretty brutal pick 6 against Oregon late in that game that, could have lost Indiana the game. So I don't, he's very good. He's excellent. He's on a heck of a run right now, but he's not, sort of infallible when it comes to doing something wild when he's getting pressured. So I think that's what Miami has to hope for.
Okay. Are you ready? What else do we need to say? You ready to make some picks? Generally speaking, you got more research.
How much do you think it matters? Not much at all. A little bit, majorly, that there's potentially some scheme familiarity here with Corey Heatherman being a former James Madison defensive coordinator and perhaps being able to help out Miami's offense try to crack Indiana's defense a little bit.
I think minorly. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just that Bryant Haynes and that defensive staff are just they can come up with the new plan every week to figure out how to shut something down? And
yeah,
I don't know. It's probably from listening to you, but I feel like I believe in the Indiana scheme on both sides of the ball at this point. Like, I believe in those coordinators. I believe in their ability to find a decisive schematic advantage. And I mean, it's an interesting wrinkle. It's one of those things. It's like, how do you beat Cignetti? It's like you get somebody on the inside.
Right.
Wouldn't that be step 1? Right. Ocean's 11, get somebody who knows him. And it's like, okay, so I found his best friend from 5th grade. And you would ask him about stuff. It's like, no, how about somebody who worked for him like 4 years ago, which, as Corey Heatherman did it at JMU. That's like if Corey Heatherman wasn't working for Miami would be calling Corey Heatherman on the phone to say, like, hey, what should we do? Right.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. He's not like a Cignetti lifer. He only coached with Cignetti for 2 years, James Madison. He wasn't with them at Elon. He wasn't with them at IUP or anything, not like Corey Heatherman was, but I think and the scheme also could be like somewhat substantially different. And it's not like Indiana and Miami play super similarly defensively, but I just wonder if there's enough familiarity there that maybe Miami can do something to, at the very least, like avoid the opening drive pick 6 that Indiana seems to be very good at getting and start the game off on a better foot than either Ohio State did in the Big Ten championship or Oregon did in the semifinal.
So when Corey Heatherman was the defensive coordinator at JMU, was Bryant Haynes, who has been with Cignetti longer, like under Corey Heatherman? Bryant Haynes is now the defensive coordinator at Indiana and has been around Cignetti for a long time.
So this is on Wikipedia, so take it for what it's worth, I guess. But they have Heatherman as the DC and defensive ends coach, and Haynes during those 2 years as the co-DC and linebackers coach. Okay. Yeah, so those guys know each other really well. That's interesting. It's an interesting. They're like best friends. I saw they're the 2 finalists for the Broyles Award, and they're like best friends. And like the Broyles Award tweeted out like, "Hey, isn't it cute that these guys are the finalists and they're best friends and they're playing against each other in the national championship?" Nice. Yeah, that's
really nice. Oh, college football is so nice. It's about the brotherhood, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Isn't it about the brotherhood?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to feel good for millionaires.
There's nothing. Oh man, there's nothing that gets me up and pops me out of bed in the morning than thinking about happy thoughts for millionaires. What? So I do think you could look at how Miami's gotten here and been like, man, like they got some stuff going. Like they could have lost any of these 3 games right along the way, which is resilience, which is like true, but also like maybe a little pixie dust. But also I think it's possible that you could look at Indiana blowing out Oregon and be like, well, 28 free points on Oregon mistakes, right? Like are there things not just in Miami's playoff run, but also in Indiana's playoff run that might lead you to think certain things that might not be exactly true?
Yeah, because I just think they played a very average Alabama team, and they did get gifted short fields plus a defensive score against Oregon. That is a they've already beaten Oregon prior to that. They were certainly well equipped to do it again, but I do think that the blowout nature of that game is going to send people down some paths that I'm not entirely sure they should go down, because I don't know if that is a repeatable outcome for Indiana.
Yeah. Guess who's one of the people that's getting sent down that path?
Yeah.
This guy.
Backwards hat, Doug. Yeah.
Hey, fellow kids, you want Indiana minus 30. I'm giving it out at recess. Indiana minus 30. I will book your bets. Do you know how many times they scored 56 against Oregon? The Indiana Fighting Hoosiers did. Do you know how many times overall they have scored 56 this year as their final score?
3?
4.
Oh, nice.
4 of their 15 games have ended with them having 56. They also have a 73, they have a 63, and they have a 55. So I don't know if this is one of the numbers available, but sometimes you can make like usually it's an exact score bet, but I'm going to search high and low where I can put $2 on Indiana to score 56 points one way or another. Because my final score is Indiana 56, Miami 14. And I just think I know everything you just said, but I was just double checking. Georgia TCU 65-7. Right? Like it.
Oh, there's been some
sometimes.
blowouts. Oh yeah, it definitely happens. Yeah.
Right. So I just think I understand all the mistakes that Oregon made. I also think Indiana can kind of force you into mistakes. And I think Miami is a tremendous credit to be here. And it's not that they don't deserve to be here, but I think I think it could be at the end of the road more than it's at the end of the road for Indiana. And here's the thing. Curt Cignetti does not want to win the national championship. He doesn't care about that. He wants to win the national championship by 50. That's what he cares about.
Yeah. Hey, do you think if Sig wins the national title, he should take the Steelers job?
Who am I speaking as? Am I speaking as Northern College football defender of the realm, Doug Lesmerises? Or am I speaking as just like football guy, send a Yinzer back home to save the pro team? Yeah. Like I'd send the Yinzer home to save the pro team. I mean, what better story could there be? Like fly straight from Miami to Pittsburgh? Yeah. Like Pittsburgh, it's the shining city on the hill. Everybody in America would move to Pittsburgh if Curt Cignetti became the coach of the Steelers.
Are people talking about that? It's like a very obvious thing. He's from Pittsburgh, but I asked my wife, who's a Steelers fan, and she said it'll never happen because the Rooney family likes to hire someone when they're 38 and have them coach for 25 years, and that's not Sig. But I would hire Sig for like 5 years to see if he can win a Super Bowl.
He's also, I think he's a vampire. He might be coaching until he's 89, so you might get 25 years out of him anyway. Like,
and he's also he can't be that much older than John Harbaugh.
No, I think John Harbaugh is 63, and I think 64.
John Harbaugh 63. Yeah. Okay.
I'd do it. So what else is there? And then he can leave Bryant Haynes to be the head coach at Indiana. Yeah. It's all good, So as the defender of the realm, no, stay and build a dynasty at Indiana. But what a story. Because don't you think he'd win the Super Bowl next year?
I think it might take him 2 or 3 years, but I think he could win one. I think a lot of what's fueled his success at Indiana is copy and paste to go be successful in the NFL. Because it's all scouting and player development and scheme. It's not winning with talent advantage, like obscure talent advantage or obscene talent advantages.
Right. Which often it is in college, right? Which is why college guys don't make it in the NFL. And then the Steelers trade 11 first-round picks to Vegas to get the number 1 pick to take Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah. Why not?
Right? It's like Vegas is like, nope, we're not doing it. 6 first-round picks. Nope. 7. Nope. All right, 11. Okay, I guess we have to do it now. Fernando and Kurt. Boom. Fernando, Kurt, and Mr. Rogers. What else? The 3 biggest heroes in Pittsburgh history. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
My score is actually 56-14. Like, I'm not joking. It's happened before. It's the magic number for them. I can see a scenario where like they blitz Carson Beck, and if it can happen to Dante Moore, I think it can happen to Carson Beck. It gets loose. They keep the pedal down. They are taking shots down the field to this really good receiver core, and it's just like out of control. And it's a 3.5 hour coronation of Kurt Signetti and this Indiana program, and it is like they have to use they are showing his best friend from 5th grade because all the prep they have for this game, like, and they were they're there. They were there pretty quick in the Indiana-Oregon game. They were down the prep pike because it was like, well, this game's out of hand. I think it could get out of hand. 56-14. And I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look for alternate lines. I'm going to take Indiana -30. I'm going to take Indiana to score 56. And the North to triumph again. 3 straight years, Big Ten champs.
Okay. I'm picking Miami.
No, for real. Let's all right. That's now I want to hear it all.
I think it's just a major overcorrection to me, woefully underestimating the situation on the line of scrimmage when Miami played Ohio State, and I don't want to do that again because I think it could play out similarly against Indiana. I love Indiana. I think their offensive line is fine, but not great, and I don't know they'll be able to hold up against Miami. And I don't know that the movement of Indiana's defensive line will impact Miami's offensive line in quite the same way. Okay. And if those are two sort of position battles where I think Miami has the edge, and I just think that might be a lot for Indiana to overcome. It would put Indiana back in, I think, in a similar place where it was last year, where like I had a lot of really good, but when it came down to it, it didn't have quite everything it needed on the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of where I am. I do think Miami's got a little magic to it. Like I think there is pixie dust, and I don't think it's going to run out for them while they're playing for a national title in their home stadium. I don't know what the crowd dynamic's going to be. I think probably not like a tremendous home field advantage for Miami. Although I will say, like, I thought the Miami fans at the Cotton Bowl when we were there, like, made that feel far more neutral than I thought it was going to be. So, like, I don't know quite what to expect from the fan environment.
They showed up. No, I thought they showed up. I mean, Ohio State had more fans there, but it wasn't 80-20. I thought it was more like 60-40. And then when it got going, it felt like 50-50. So
yeah. And I think there is an element, like, Miami fans, like, we've all seen the screenshots, whatever, of like an empty Hard Rock Stadium, Miami's playing a game. But when the U is good, I do think they show up, and I do think it might matter some in this game. But it's not like a lot of, like, I think these like 7 hardcore football reasons why it's going to happen. I think it's primarily line of scrimmage. I think it's a little bit style of play. Miami being very comfortable, just sort of dinking and dunking and running short and churning out first downs and maybe kicking some field goals and being okay putting it on its defense and not feeling like it needs to hit explosive plays to win. The thing that scares me off picking Miami the most is a situation with its secondary in the first half, and like might Indiana just run out to a lead that Miami can't overcome, which I also think is possible. But I'm going to roll with Miami 24-21. I think like they kick a game-winning field goal to win.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I do think one of the things, Indiana's defense creates more havoc than Ohio State's does, right? And that was
number 1 in the country. Yeah.
So that was, I think, again, some of the matchup things that did not work out for Ohio State against Miami. That was another one of them that if Ohio State is like, hey, we're going to make you drive on us. And then Carson Beck is like, I'll throw 5-yard passes all day. And that actually, Ohio State kind of wants to take away your big plays. They're not going to force a ton of turnovers. They're going to make you work. And then Carson Beck worked for like 2.5 drives, and that was enough and led them down the field. I think Indiana, to your havoc point, like, is going to get after them a little bit more. It's just in their DNA, I think, and as you've talked about the Indiana Ohio State games, like they just do some things they're blitzing guys from out here. They're twisting and stunting up front, and so they're not as static as some teams. And I think that could be. I think you have to create havoc, right? Because if sometimes like that's what Carson Beck's. I've said it a million times, and here he is in the national championship game. He's not dangerous. If you hand him something, he'll say thank you. But if you make him do something, I question his ability to really like do that in the face of a lot of stuff. And I think maybe Indiana, just stylistically, is more prepared to make him do things than Ohio State was. This is just a point of information as you and I, and this is fantastic because you and I agree too much, which is to your detriment because you should not be agreeing with this. But if you're trying to figure out, wow, this is a divergence of opinion, who should I trust? I just will go back to our season records for the year against the spread. It was a big game for you, Indiana, Oregon. I said, man, if you get this right, you're going to be 500 and have a chance to make your pick in the national title game to finish with a winning record. And then we both got that wrong. Yeah. So you are not 500. You are 61-63 against the spread for the year as we sit here right now. And that is quite a bit better than me because I am 54-70. So do you want to roll with the guy who's 2 games under 500, or do you want to roll with the old man in the backwards hat who's 16 games under 500? That's on you. I'm betting $2 on Indiana to score 56. So there we have it.
I actually didn't look to see what Miami money line is, but I'll be placing a wager on that for sure.
Okay. We should just book it with each other for this. It's like, I mean, you take, I'll take Indiana minus 30, and you're like, okay, yeah. Well, so, okay, that's where we are on these picks. We appreciate you guys like riding along all year for these fun and sometimes silly, but like we try to analyze it. We don't just like throw it against the wall, and we're responsible for our records. And so sometimes picking games is difficult, and I made it look exceedingly difficult this year, which is why I am 16 games under 500. Let's do a little what you watching, what you eating, what you thinking. You can get this on a regular basis, weekly as it turns out, over on the Bill and Doug Show on Substack, BillandDougOSU.substack.com. Again, why are we trying to get you to pay for football content by telling you to come watch us talk about streaming services and fast food? Well, the people love, Bill. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, this is, we get more response to this
all about
than we do to any football thoughts we have.
Yes, we sure do, which is great.
Okay. What are you watching?
I binged my way through, it's only 6 episodes, His and Hers on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've scouted it. I've seen it. John Bernthal,
Tessa Thompson.
Okay.
Doing I think pretty solid work with just awful material.
Oh, for real?
It sucked.
Are they cops? Are they sheriffs? What are they? Are they
he's
FBI agents?
He's a sheriff. She is a local news reporter.
Okay.
There's a murder in a small town, and hijinks ensue, and like the characters are pretty unlikable.
Okay.
But they do a good job of playing them as such, I think. And there's enough of I don't want to spoil it. Yeah. There's enough of a whodunit. There's enough of a whodunit to keep you hooked, I think. But then something happens at the end that ruins it.
Are they? Is it in the South?
Yeah, it's in Georgia. Yeah.
Okay. In like the 3-second clip that when you hover on it on Netflix, it plays it. John Bernthal's Southern accent made me think like, I don't know if I can deal with this.
It's interesting because like he's sort of the only one who has it.
Oh, for real?
Like he's doing a thing with his accent, which like he did, like, you know, The Walking Dead takes place like in Atlanta, and he did a similar thing in The Walking Dead. But it's weird because like Tessa Thompson is not doing a Southern accent. They're all from the same area. Like, okay, there's just his is very different. But I you definitely notice it when the show first starts, and then you kind of get past it after a while. But it's there's a little bit like a foghorn leghorn thing going on. Yeah.
Oh, which I like. I just okay. I was worried like it was going to be so off-putting that I couldn't even get through. But if you just get used to it, you get ear blind to it.
Yeah, Pablo Schreiber's in it. I like him. He plays Liev Schreiber's brother. He's pretty good. Like I said, like it is like it's well acted. Like the people like on the show are like trying and did a good job. It's just like the story has a lot of holes in it. And they just do something at the end that was really unnecessary.
I really like, that's one of the hardest things I think in streaming shows anymore. It's like, I'm not sure I like this, but I just am going to hang in to see what happens, which is the whole point. And so we've all been hooked like that. So I don't know how you give up once you're 2.5 episodes in and you're like, am I enjoying this? And it's like, yeah, but what's the thing? Don't I want to know the thing? So you couldn't give up.
No, and it's only 6 episodes. They're all like 42 minutes. Like it's not a heavy lift. But no, it's not Shakespeare either. So
okay. I went and saw Timmy Supreme, as I call it, Marty Supreme. 0 stars.
Oh yeah, really?
Actively hated it.
Wow.
And once something like that happens, like all I've been doing is Googling, like, do people hate Marty Supreme? And there does seem to be some fringe like that. I'm not the only person in America. And so this is one of those things. Again, I understand that I am not Timothée Chalamet's primary target audience, but I thought it was a stupid story, incredibly poorly acted. I thought it was like a community theater level of acting. There's all these non-actors. Well, there's not all these. There's one guy, like non-actor in it. Like, I was like, why is this guy in Shark Tank? He's not a freaking actor. Yeah. He's just being himself the whole time. Like, get a freaking actor. I don't need to see this guy. I thought it was horrible. Like, we were angry at it, like during the course of it. And so it makes me think, and like, I'm not telling anyone else not to go because I'm an old man, but it's just like another reminder to me of like when the culture is passing me by. And so that there was this once, right? I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, we want people, whatever, 25 through 45 or like the main down. And it's like, I'm out of that. I'm out of the demographic that anybody cares about. So maybe I should just lock myself in my house and never consume pop culture anymore, because they gave me Timothée Chalamet on a platter. He's winning Golden Globes. He's going to get nominated for an Oscar. I thought it was a paper thin performance that I've seen 8th graders do better. And I actively hated every single part of the movie in which he was involved. And maybe I just need to curl up in a fetal position and fade away.
Yeah. I think there is an element to like, it's Chalamet, it's a Safdie brother, it's an A24 movie. You have to like it. What do you mean? How could you not like it? And it's just like, well, maybe it stinks. And I think we have to be open to every now and then, the hot indie production company makes a stinker. I don't know what to think of Chalamet. I think this is right. The only thing I've seen Chalamet in is Dune. And like, they want him to be Luke Skywalker, and I don't think he has any screen presence.
I don't think he has any screen presence either. Again, 2 old men think Timothée Chalamet has any screen presence. He has his shirt off in this. He weighs 78 pounds. I don't like it's not for me. It's not for me to decide. Yeah. I didn't get any. I thought it was almost a spoof, because it's like, how could this really be about the thing that it's saying that it's about? Because like, I can't believe that this is really what it's about. For real? Like, I'm supposed to care about this?
They're playing ping pong, right? It's ping pong.
I mean, it feels like a Tim Robinson sketch. It's like, what if we did like The Miracle on Ice, but we made it about ping pong? Ha ha. And I mean, no offense, but I've seen guys play ping pong in a movie before, and it's called Forrest Gump. And the thing about that is, it's not all ping pong. It's a little bit of ping pong. This is a lot of ping pong. Little bit of ping pong goes a long way. I am not saying that I'm right. I am like super. I would like to form like a focus group, like a self-help group for people who hated Marty Supreme. If you hate Marty Supreme, please come in my basement and we'll hang out and talk about why we hated it. Like my favorite movie podcast talked about it and they both loved it. And I wanted to punch them both in the neck because they're it made me think they're a bunch of pretentious ding-dongs. So, and they're my age. So I don't know. It's just like an odd thing when you hate something that most people seem to like.
I don't know. I would like someone also to tell me, like, what should I watch to like Chalamet? Because I kind of don't get it. I kind of like him personally. Like, he seems like a cool dude who's into a lot of stuff and like really cares about the work that he does. I just think it's possible he's not that good of an actor, which is fine. Like, plenty of good-looking men have gotten by being terrible actors, but I don't know if he's good looking enough for that.
But then when the whole world wants to give him an award, they're giving him like they can't wait to give this guy an Academy Award. They had to hold themselves back from giving him one for being Bob Dylan. They can't wait to give this guy an Academy Award for this. And I'm like, did you watch the same thing that I watched? This is mind blowing to me. And it's hard because, and maybe I'm just a simpleton, because it's like the character that he's playing is not particularly likable. So it's like, oh, you just don't like the character, which is why you don't like the movie. To which I would say, well, that's part of it. Like, thanks for making me spend 2.5 hours with an a-hole. Woo! But also, I love anti-heroes. Like, I can't wait to hang out with Tony Soprano and Walter White. Right? Yeah. I mean, like, the whole world is great. Look at me. I'm not craving nice people. This wasn't it for me. So if you go see it, I would be I would be curious to talk with people, both who hate it. That's who I want to talk to the most, but people who love it, and just say, like, what is it about it that you love? Like, what do you think is so outstanding? And not for me to pick it apart and make fun of you, for you to inform me on this outlier opinion. So
it's 2.5 hours.
It's a lot of ping pong. He's not playing ping pong the whole time, but and then the guy from Columbus is in it. The guy who has like the really deep voice that they did a story on the Dispatch like 15 years ago. Gerald Chenoweth.
Oh, really?
The guy, Ted Williams is his name, right?
Yeah.
The golden voice.
He's just like, voice.
He's just like randomly in it.
Okay.
Because like, I guess
I saw him on the news the other day, and I was like, why is this guy on the news again?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because he's a Marty Supreme. All right.
Because like, why would you cast actors? I don't need actors.
It's Gwyneth Paltrow, Marty Supreme, and 30 people who are it's Gwyneth Paltrow, and 30 people who don't act. Yeah.
No, which is fine. I hope people enjoy.
What about the girl, the Odessa, whatever her name is, girl, who I've never seen in anything before? But
yeah,
feels like they're trying to
she's
make
on
her
this HBO show. Like, fine. I don't know. Fine.
Yeah.
No, nobody's jumping off the screen to me. It's all fine. All right. What are you eating?
I'm going to give a shout out to a local Columbus business here. So we had my son's 3rd birthday party last weekend, and my wife got these dinosaur cookies made for it, and they were like really well decorated. Like there were different dinosaurs, or like dinosaurs, I think, like in an egg. There were like things that like said his name on it. They had like number. They were just like all like hand sort of. They were painted practically, and I think oftentimes when you get stuff like that, they don't taste good.
Yes,
like you're whatever you're using to make it look the way it looks, just like it's edible but barely. These were fantastic. They were brownie cookies, iced brownie cookies. Like, the icing was good. The brownie cookie was awesome. We ended up with a bunch of them left over, and I've been like housing them all week. We finally ran out of them, thankfully, because I've definitely eaten far too many of them. But they're just made by a woman in Hilliard who does it as like a side hustle, from all I can tell. And I think my wife found her on Instagram, and it's Captain Kelly's Kitchen. On Instagram.
Have her on the show, Captain Kelly.
Makes a hell of a cookie. Like, I would recommend it to anybody who's got to get specially decorative cookies for a birthday party or whatever. Because not only do they look fantastic, but they taste even better. Like, I could not, I thought for sure they were going to be terrible when I saw how well decorated they were.
You assume it's going to taste terrible.
Yes. Yeah. And they were really, really good.
Because you figure, like, you got to go one way or the other, right? What do you care about the most? And if you really care about how it looks, and like most of the time, right? And then it's like, oh, you cared so much about this, making this cookie look like a painting. I don't want to eat a painting. What are we doing here? What's the point? You made it look cool. I took a bite of it and it tasted like plastic. What a wonderful thing for you guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Captain Kelly.
Yeah. She does nice work.
I ate this. It is a pepperoni stick. Pepperoni pizza stick. I got it at the grocery store. It was like $1.50. Pepperoni pizza stick by Tombstone. Shopping with my family, and it's like, Dad's got to get that for Whatcha. So here's the thing. This is microwavable. I made it in a microwave. And I would rather throw myself out of a helicopter than make pizza in a microwave, right? Like, what are we doing? You put a pizza, anything that's pizza in a microwave, it's like you're destroying the crust, you're destroying the dough. You and I would certainly argue at times, right, that is not the dough and the crust the most important part of a pizza. And what are we doing? This was like $1.50. Put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. It's like the dough is thick enough that it holds up. Right? It holds up and it does not get rubbery. And then the inside is just hot lava pizza, right? When you microwave it for 2 minutes. And like as a stick, so if we're talking about like, right, Totina's pizza rolls and your friends all come over and your mom makes sure, right, your parents are making the pizza rolls. I don't have any friends. So if I want to have like a little pizza snack, I can't get like a big thing of rolls. This is the lonely man's pizza snack, and that's me. So if you are a person who sits in your house by yourself and doesn't want like a whole pizza thing going on, but just like a little pizza action, just like a little maybe mid-afternoon pizza deal. I kind of had this for my lunch with some vegetables and it was pretty good. Carbs are 28 carbs, like not too bad, right? But if you're worried, if you're nervous about putting pizza in a microwave, which you should be nervous about, it's a last resort. This actually worked. And so I think like there are times like that's what I'm looking for. It's like a shot glass of pizza. Like I don't want 12 ounces. I don't want a whole drink. I just want a shot of pizza. And this got it done. And I had not seen necessarily, it does look like something, I'm sure they have it in convenience stores, but then you have that microwave. But surprisingly good. I was pleased because I'm often looking for a pizza shot, right? Especially like my kids are gone. My wife doesn't really eat pizza. So otherwise, like I'm eating whole pizzas by myself. Well, that's not the best for me.
No.
So this satisfied it.
Didn't explode in the microwave?
Did not. I probably microwaved it like 8 seconds too long. It started to leak a little bit, but it didn't explode. And I think that was more on me. Because whenever there's microwave directions, I always go like 10 or 15 seconds over.
Can you air fry it?
Yeah, I think you could. But part of it is because I don't want to microwave anything other than like a microwave, like a thing that is a microwave meal, microwave popcorn. Other than that, like I don't want to microwave anything. So I'm always air frying, which then takes a little bit longer. But then like you can air fry it, but you don't need to. Okay. And this will be ready in a minute and 45 seconds and give you a little pizza shot. Are there times when you feel like you could use a pizza shot?
Yeah, and I always get mad. Well, not mad, but like a little frustrated that like I want a piece of pizza. I don't want a whole pizza. But then like if I want it and I'm not going to call out and order it, I end up making like a whole frozen pizza. And it's like, well, I didn't really want all of it.
I know.
Yeah.
And like, again, Ohio is not like a go grab a slice of pizza place. Like, I mean, as a region, like if you were in Philadelphia, and
there actually is a place near me that I could walk to that I can get one that I don't think
you can get one slice. Yeah. Because there are times like if you're in the right region and it's like, man, I'm just gonna go get a slice of pizza. It's not lunch. It's not dinner. It's 3:30, and could use a little something. Nothing hits like that. I don't know where to. I bet you there are not a ton. Right? There's probably not a ton of places in Central Ohio to do that.
I remember the place that used to be near campus that you could go to that's not there anymore. Yep. And I live near East Market, and there's a yellow brick in there, and you can get a slice.
Okay.
But that's the only two I know of. Yeah.
This is the replacement. What are you thinking about?
Why do we care about sports? Why
They won the Super Bowl last year.
It's not that. It's not just that. It's just how things tend to spiral. The Eagles lost. The Flyers were in a playoff spot like a week ago, and now they can't win. The Sixers got dump trucked by the Cavs. They stink. And the Phillies were supposed to sign Bo Bichette, and the Mets stole them.
Yeah.
That all happened like in the last 10 days. I'm done. I'm giving up. I'm going to become a monk.
What, for real, like on a scale of 1 to 1,000, what is the impact of those sports happenings for your teams on your everyday life right now, on how you feel walking around in the world?
It's like how I feel walking around in the world, like pretty low actually.
Yeah.
Like I'm not walking around angry at anything, but I want to, now that the NFL season is over and college football will be over on Monday night. Like I have a hard time just like casually watching a game if it's not a team that I'm invested in. And I feel like I'm staring down from now until next football season, just mediocre professional Philadelphia sports. And I'm like dreading it a little bit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm not like whatever mad at my family because the Eagles lost or anything like that.
But there is like the idea like that. Yeah, it's a sports desert. You're creating a sports desert of like if you don't have something, because it's nice to have a little something percolating in the background, or maybe it's not in the background. Like that's it. Like sports percolates around you, and so like if there's just something extra to care about, right? I do think, and like you sort of brought it up, and we would direct people to our conversation with Ross Bjork, the athletic director of Ohio State, like in talking about soft caps, hard caps, unlimited spending, whatever, like just like what the Dodgers are doing right now. And it's like the Kyle Tucker, I think the Mets thought they were going to get Kyle Tucker. So he went to the Dodgers. So instead the Mets got Bo Bichette and took him away from the Phillies. I do wonder like if what the Dodgers are doing, to the extent the Dodgers are doing it, how dangerous that could be for sports. That even like as Ross Bjork is sort of talking about the idea, and it's sort of, I think you kind of were bringing up, it's like, well, if there's no limit, if there's no cap on rev share and you can do whatever you want, that would be beneficial for a place like Ohio State. But man, it's tough in the uncapped sports. Like the Dodgers are so dominant and their payroll is quintuple some teams that it's just like, it's on the verge of making it not fun for everybody else,
it also makes me nervous. Like, I don't know, because like there's the CBA is up for baseball soon, right? And I don't know, like obviously no one wants to see baseball going to a work stoppage, but like the stuff like that make it more likely that there's going to be a work stoppage because the sport needs to figure itself out. I don't know, but it was just not a great like 13 days. But once the Eagles start signing free agents and looking at draft picks, I'll be right back in it. It'll be fine.
Tyrese Maxey's going to make the All-Star team, right? He'll start in the All-Star game. That'll be good.
And I think Caden McDonald's going to look great in the Eagles uniform. So
that's right. Oh, you facilitating? Caden McDonald need an agent? Yeah. So this is not what I'm thinking, but I will say that I had an incredibly vivid dream last night where I drowned a guy, and I woke up shook.
Was it
because
me?
I helped. It was actually the guy looked like Jim Varney, the guy who plays Ernest, like an Ernest Goes to Camp. I drowned Ernest. There was a river that went in front of my house, like kind of in the woods, and this guy was like coming down the river to get us because I've been watching Bad Black Rabbit, Jason Bateman and Jude Law. It's like all these kind of shows now. And it's a little bit like Marty Supreme is in that range of like you do some things and maybe you don't mean it, but it gets away from you and all of a sudden you're doing other things and like you're doing terrible things that you kind of didn't intend to do. And so that's in my head, but that's what all pop culture is these days, which actually I should like that. So like the guy was like coming to get us, and we heard like we figured it out that he was coming to get us. So he was swimming down the river that ran in front of my house to come get us in our house. And I went out to the river and met him and just grabbed him and held him under the water for 10 minutes. And like in my dream, I think
10 minutes.
I wanted to make sure. And so in my dream, I think I just was dreaming like 10 minutes of just like holding this guy under the water. And then like I did it successfully to defend my home. And then I woke up and I was like, I really just felt like I was drowning somebody for the last 10 minutes. And like, I am not usually that shook by my dreams. It was a rough morning. Like it happens to everybody sometimes, right?
It definitely does. I had a dream, or I guess it's a nightmare. Like 2 nights ago, someone was chasing me with a knife. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You'll also notice that I did not characterize me murdering someone in a river as a nightmare. It was a dream.
Well, you had a lovely, lovely home along the riverbank. Yeah.
I succeeded in my dream mission, which was to drown Ernest for 10 minutes. That's not my main thing. So am I missing out on wine culture? Because I drove past a thing the other day that was like, it was a shop called Wine and Canvas. And there seems to be all these things that people do where drinking the wine is a primary part of the activity, but it's not the activity. Mm-hmm. And I just think to myself, what if there was a thing that I could do that it was like Diet Coke and Canvas? And it's like, come paint a picture, but also try 11 different flavors of Diet Coke while you were doing it. I would sign up in a nanosecond, but I don't know of anything except I like every moment of my life that is like do an activity, but also to supplement the activity, having a fun time drinking Diet Coke is part of it. And I don't do it with beer. I don't do it with wine. And I feel like I am missing out on something because I'm an old man. What else am I going to do? Like, do you participate in wine culture at all?
No, I'll drink a glass of wine if someone puts it in front of me. Like the experience is a little lost on me, and wine makes me sleepy. So I'd like to try to avoid it. So I don't think I would. Yeah, I'd fall asleep halfway through painting the picture if I went to Wine and Canvas. But you don't think like if you go with a group of friends to Wine and Canvas, you're like, you know what? I don't feel like having alcohol tonight. I'll take a Diet Coke. They don't have one available for you? I
don't know. But also like, aren't I missing 40% of it? Oh, try this Pinot, whatever, Doug. Don't you want to try this? It tastes like mulch or whatever. And I feel like I should.
But is that what it is? It's a wine tasting. It's like
I don't know.
You're trying.
I didn't go in.
You're smelling the glass. You're twirling it around, like all that stuff. It's like,
yeah.
You do all that. It's like, yep, this one also tastes like sour fruit juice. Next. Yeah.
They don't want me there. But like, can we make Diet Coke place where I can like do a little pottery on the side while I'm drinking like 7 different flavors of Diet Coke? I don't know. Why does it have to be alcohol?
Yeah. You want like a bunch of easels with people painting and like a Coke remix machine in the corner.
Yeah. But then maybe at that place they have like a special thing where it's like they have butterscotch Coke, which you don't have anywhere else. Like you got to try the butterscotch Coke. It's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to try the butterscotch Diet Coke.
Have you ever gone to like a real soda fountain where like they mix the syrup and the carbonated stuff and like
like old timey?
Old timey.
Sounds fun.
Does sound fun.
I'm missing out. I just if you participate in wine culture, just tell us how good it is. Like, what are we missing? Right? Are we like? It's okay.
Isn't it mostly just about getting away from your kids or your spouse? That's what I always like. That's the real treat, is it not?
But I do that too. Come play video games, drink 7 different times of Diet Coke, and avoid your family. I'm there. Now I love my family, but
we're just talking about Dave and Buster's.
I know, but Dave and Buster's should accentuate the Diet Coke-ness of it. Like that's the thing that I'm missing. Yeah. I can go do a thing, but can I have this second thing? I want the ampersand. I want the activity and Diet Coke, just like wine and beer and, right? You're going to a thing, we're going to a brewery, we're going to do you go to a wine tasting. Why isn't there a Napa Valley of Diet Coke where you just go look at all the vats of chemicals and you look at these chemicals, how good these chemicals are. Wow, that's great. Put those chemicals in my drink and we'll try them fresh right out here in the lobby when we're done after our tour. I want to tour a chemical factory and then drink it in my body. I don't know. Okay.
Napa Valley Diet Coke.
That's going to do it. So you can come find us over on the Bill and Doug Show on our Substack, BillandDougOSU.substack.com. We like to talk national college football here. We like to do Ohio State stuff out here. Over there, it's pretty much Ohio State stuff, but it's also Whatcha, usually every Wednesday. And we do like 1 or 2, usually 2 shows a week over there just for the Substack folks. And we're talking about the transfer portal. We're talking about everything in college football. We're writing about it. We're tracking it. It's almost over. And then we'll be doing a live show here on Monday night after the national championship game. Live show on YouTube, Indiana, Miami. And I think the plan will be we usually do Around the Shoe here on Monday. I think we're going to try to bump it to Tuesday. Yeah. So maybe react to the national title game a little bit, wrap up transfer stuff for Ohio State, have 2 other Ohio State people join us to talk about that. But for now, thanks to you guys so much for being here. We are just 2 guys shouting into a microphone without you. So for now, he's Bill Landis. I'm Doug Lesmerises. And that was the Bill and Doug Show.